Battlefield 4, the suppression effect. This is one of the most hotly debated topics in the whole of the Battlefield 3 game. Some people love suppression, some people hate it. It's like Marmite, but you gotta get used to it because it's in Battlefield 3, and it was there to stay. Now, chances are that in Battlefield 4 we are going to be seeing suppression again. However, I think we're going to be seeing a new iteration of what DICE have thought up about suppression from Battlefield 3, taken feedback, and then they'll put that into Battlefield 4. So let's just give a brief history on what suppression has been like thus far in Battlefield 3. When the game first came out, suppression was barely noticeable. We knew it was there, it was a feature that we were told about before the game release. So at that point in time, suppression consisted of like a blur of vision, you lose focus on the enemy that's standing in front of you, you experience like sort of large scope sway and an increased hipfire spread. But as of a patch not long after the release of Battlefield 3 in March 2012, DICE felt the need to tweak suppression further, and they added in a substantial increase in recoil and bullet spread on top of what was already available for the suppression effect. Furthermore, suppression cancels any sort of automatic health regeneration unless you're standing next to a medkit, and obviously that will give you health back because it's not an automatic health regeneration. So now that we sort of know how DICE have actually implemented suppression into Battlefield 3, we can begin to talk about how it actually sort of feels in Battlefield 3 and how it can be tweaked in Battlefield 4 to make it more refined, perhaps a little bit of a better effect than it currently is now. I'm just going to stop here and say that I like suppression. I think it gives Battlefield 3 a differentiation from any other first-person shooter that's out there at the moment. You don't see any Call of Duty titles using a suppression effect. You just don't kind of get that in those games. With DICE, they've sort of implemented this system, and it gives a sort of more realistic feel to a battle, but still, I still feel it needs tweaking. I'd like to see suppression return to a state where it was before that patch in March 2012. I want to see the recoil increase taken away, and I want to see bullet spread taken away as well. If you think about it, you'll find directly at an enemy in battle, even if they're only 5 feet in front of you, sometimes your bullets will go completely off target. I recently did a test in a private server with a guy the other day. I stood 5 feet from a guy with a sniper rifle, bolt action, and he fired a machine gun just over my left shoulder and continued firing it. I then fired my sniper rifle directly at his head and my bullet missed from 5 feet away. For me, I don't really think that that is kind of how suppression should work. If you're only 5 feet away from an enemy in a real life battle, chances are that he's already killed you if he's firing an LMG at you. But if you hit a sniper rifle bullet right into the centre of his head, you're going to kill him. Just because there's a bit of suppression doesn't mean that a bit of wind comes along and the bullet goes completely off course. Apart from that, in terms of suppression, I think it's a great system what they have right now. I don't like the fact that the bullets go off course. I do like the visual effect that you get on your screen with increased blurring. It makes your vision go slightly sort of hazed so that you don't really know where enemies are on your peripheral vision. And the idea is that when your vision is blurred, someone is firing at you, it forces you to take cover so that suppression effect can go away. Then that way when you come back round the corner, if the enemy's not paying attention, you then have the chance to fire at them in a clean shot. There's no blurring, there's no recoil, there's no bullet spread or anything. It forces you to take that cover and then obviously recover and then come back out and continue fighting. Having said all this though, I do have a secondary idea of how suppression could work, and it's sort of related to the support class that we have in Battlefield 3. Now for me, the support class is perhaps the most underpowered and unbalanced class in the whole of Battlefield 3. It hasn't got much going for it. To be honest, the LMGs are completely and utterly inaccurate and they don't handle very well, and it was a complete contrast to Bad Company 2, where those things were like sort of sniper rifles with bipods with a 200 round magazine sitting on the side of it. My idea would be that suppression is only available to people in that support class. The point of an LMG is so that you can lay down suppressive and covering fire for the rest of your squad mates. That's the point of these kind of guns. It's not so that you can take people out from 20 feet away with this high-powered, high-damage sort of gun. It's there so that you can lay down suppressive fire so that your team can then move up, flank an enemy and take the defenders out. So perhaps we could just see the suppression effect that we have now in Battlefield 3 only for the support class, where those LMGs enable for you to suppress an enemy and then they get the scope sway, the recoil. But if you were like an assault, like medic kind of guy, you're walking towards them with your assault rifle, you still suppress them, they get that visual effect, the blurring, so they can't see what's going on their peripheral, but they don't get that increased recoil, scope sway, bullet spread, whatever. Because that way those guns aren't actually designed to lay down suppressive fire. But then on the flip side of that, this whole sort of only available for one class suppression effect, extra added on top kind of thing, didn't really have a real name for it, but that's what we're going to call it. Would that then make the support class slightly overpowered in comparison to the other classes that would be available in Battlefield 4? Perhaps then maybe you could implement some sort of system like a time delay for the added suppression effect that the support class would then support. If you think about it this way, you're standing only about 10 feet from an enemy, they're just round the corner, you then head round that corner, they start firing at you, they're a support guy, they instantly suppress you, you try and fire back, and then you get that increased recoil effect that you didn't want. I don't think that would be fair. If you then have maybe 2 or 3 seconds where the support guy has a time delay between where those extra features then get enabled after that point, then I think that would be more fair, because then you've still got the initial effect of the blurred vision and all that kind of stuff, so you can't quite see what's going on, but you could still have some sort of hip fire gain, or where you can maybe get a lucky shot and kill the guy before that increased recoil kicks in. But anyway, these are just my ideas, guys. I do want to hear what your opinion is on the suppression effect, both in Battlefield 3 and how you want it to maybe be changed or not changed in Battlefield 4. So let me know in the comments down below. But that is the end of this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a like, and comments, as I've said, are always appreciated. Let me know your comments on this topic. But my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.